Hi guys, Uri here, and let's talk about the tripod. So the idea for the tripod is in here, right? So we're gonna steal the shape from this one. So click on this face, alt click on this face, Shift D, same drill, right click P on selection, solid mode. Let's grab this shell and let's apply the mirror. And what is a boolean? Yeah, let's actually apply this one too and keep the bevel intact. Now, let's apply solidify and solidify it outside and move it above the bevel and solidify it outside like this. Thicker a bit, yep. And let's actually slice it a bit. So let's grab a cube. And let's move this cube in here. You know what? How about if we're going to move this down? So select the object, go to occlude, and select the top verts and G, Z, Z. Now what I want is this direction. That's going to be tricky. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a custom direction, okay? Let's apply the solidification, but let's make sure that actually it's not too thick. This would do. This would do. Apply it. Now let's grab this face and go here and click on the plus. This will create a custom orientation again, right? We've done it before. So now let's, in this X-ray mode, B, and then G, Z, Z, or maybe this is X, or maybe this is Y, Y. Okay, so GY, and move it down here, like this. So we got this corresponding shape. You know, it doesn't really look, it just looks boring. Yeah, okay, fine, change my mind. Flip this back so we don't get confused. Let's bring this, cube back and just the hell with it, let's slice it. So Control minus and let's slice it and enjoy our life. Now let's apply this. So move it up and let's actually select this shape and grab these two edges, the short ones, right? And just, should we round them up or should we actually, you know what, let's actually chamfer them. Let's grab these ones as well. Okay. And let's actually chamfer them. I think it's gonna look better. Yep. And what we can do is create an interesting shape inside. Let's see if we can manage it. So what we need to do is insert this. Let's bring it to local and turn off this X-ray. We need to insert this first, okay? So insert it like this, then split it, okay? So Shift D, P, and now go back to this shape, and we need to revert it. So Control plus and F, okay? Let's grab this shape and extrude it outward. So on X-axis, okay? Sorry, on the Y-axis, okay? And make sure that this shape doesn't have a bevel, so remove it. And then move it inside like this. Click and Control minus, and we get this kind of funky shape, right? Do we have cavity at all? Of course we don't. So you see this shape is here in the middle. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it. So let's grab a cube and bring it over here and make it narrower and smaller, and bring it in here and smaller, and R, and make sure it's angled at about 45 degrees, and move it outside and slash this one. See where we're going with this? So we're gonna create this kind of stuff. So now grab this, okay, this face, Control L to select this whole item, okay, and then Shift D, okay, X and R, hold Control and flip it the other way around 45 degrees, okay? So move it in here, down select all of it, I mean both of them, so this one Shift and this one Control L, and Shift D and X and copy this in here. Okay. And now we need to adjust them accordingly. All right. So Control L. So what I'm watching is the distance between these two and the distance from the coldness, right? So more or less is fine. Okay. Let's remove from local view and hide these two cutters, and we are peachy, and then we're just gonna simply mirror it across. But the bevel is working. Now what we're gonna do is add a bit more interest to it. So we're going to move the boolean above, apply it, and then select these 5 and individual origins and scale them like this. Okay, and everything is good. And in addition, we need to fix this. So let's run a cut in the middle, okay, of this mesh. So C, then Z, click and enter. Okay, one more time. K, grab this edge, C, Z, click and enter, and this should cut through. See, perfect. Now let's clean these edges because this is gonna play havoc with our bevels. All right, all this junk needs to go. As I said before, no edges like this should flow into corners. Now let's grab these edges. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to select them, so we need to do it manually like this. Okay, and we're gonna round them up like troops on a battlefield. Okay, these and these, this one too, these two and these two, and I think we're good. You make sure that you didn't select anything unnecessary, so just bevel them like this and everything should be fine. And we need to add a weighted normal modifier, which will for some reason play a havoc with our geometry. Fine. So if that's how they want to play, wait a minute, we skipped one here. This one. One more time. There we go. We can actually, make these edges hard. So select all these edges around and these and these. So what I'm doing is I'm simply holding Shift and Alt and clicking on loops to make them hard edges. Probably needs to sharpen them. It's gonna help the shading. Same in the middle. Just select all these and we're just gonna grab them and sharpen them. Same with this one and this one, and we should be good. And the ones in the middle too. So do not select these ones, yeah, on the bevels. Leave them alone. And now right click and mark sharp, and this will clean everything and make it look beautiful. Peachy? Peachy. Okay, now we can mirror this to the other side, though we could do it later, but we can do it now. So just let's flip it across like this, okay? Alright, so that's that, and now we're going to actually scale it just a teensy weensy bit. So SX, let's move this origin back here to Geo, and SX and scale it just a little bit like that. Okay. This is not properly cut in here, which irritates me. So I'm gonna grab a cube and move it in here, rotate it just a little bit. So R1, 2, and move it in here, and literally slice it just a little bit. Control minus. There we go. And that's even. So let's grab this boolean on the top and apply it. And all we need to do is simply reapply these edges. So let's combine these two. Let's bring it to local because there's some geo massacre in here. Let's combine these two, and let's combine these two and these two, and remove this one and mark these two edges and mark as sharp. And this should solve all our all our problems. Remove the mirror. In fact, you know what? Don't remove it. We're simply gonna select something different to mirror across, like, for example, this one. And there we go. I think we should be fine. We should be fine. How are we looking on the bevel? Bevel doesn't work at all, which is slightly worrying. Which means we switch it to angle and we add just a tiny bit of bevel, and we need to smooth it, shade it smooth, and it's still weird. Okay, fine, let's see what happens here. Angle is not catching properly, you see. So what we're gonna do, add a bit more work to it. So let's select all these edges again. I'm just worried that if I do this again, it's not too much work, but I wonder if Blender is gonna override our edges again if we decide to cut it in the future, and probably we will, from the bottom at least, to insert like a bolt that holds this in place. It's like a jaw for this mechanism, right? So like a clamp. Okay. Alright, let's add some B weight to it. Now the bevel should work. So let's see. Still behaves weirdly. Let's add another bevel. And let's change it to weight. And 0.002. And clamp overlap and 3 segments, and maybe that's too big, so 0.3, maybe 0.5. There we go, and now it's working. So that's our clamp for the tripod, right? Now we're gonna add a cylinder. So just very quickly add a cylinder here and make it smaller. We will need to create some kind of a mechanism that actually holds this gun in place, but again, we're not going to be doing it right now. We're just going to, you know, mock it. So just create a very quick sort of like a sketch. So I'm trying to access hard ops with Q. Jesus Christ. Habits die hard, guys. Old habits die hard. Okay, so let's the cube in here. Okay, and we're gonna shift it into something more interesting. So let's actually think. Let's scale it like this and move it in here. Okay. And then let's scale it some more. This needs to be more or less robust, because you know this gun is not a joke, right? So this needs to be also kind of serious. And do something like this, and then we're going to select these edges, and you know we're going to chamfer them. But you know, before we do that one, let's actually move this one a little bit higher like this. It's gonna be a bit more interesting. There we go. And do the same thing here. So chamfer it. And actually, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we're gonna scale it. So SY and scale it. There we go. That's more interesting. And we can actually chamfer this one and chamfer this one to make it look more robust. And then we will add legs. And so Shift D and RX90. Did it work? RY90, that's what I mean. RY90. And we could snap it to this face here. So G and Control. Will it snap? It's snapping to this boolean. So let's remove these booleans because they're confusing our snap tool. And let's try to snap it to this face here. There we go. So let's go to top view and S, Z, and extrude it, and I want to make it smaller, so SZZ, and you know, make it a little bit thinner, and GZZ, and let's move our cursor to this point, okay, and then we're going to change it to cursor pivot point, and we should actually align this view now with this face. Now this is not gonna work. We can actually move the camera with 6. So press 6 on a numpad 3 times, and this will rotate the camera in angles. And now we can actually rotate it downwards like this, okay? Something like that. Go to top view, and this should do. We could mirror this across to the other side, right? Like this. And let's see. And we need one more in the front, correct? This of course is going to be bigger, and we, you know, it's going to be properly modeled. We're going to get some hinges. I'm just literally you know, drawing an idea at the moment. And this one should be without a mirror. This is going to be in the middle. So let's snap it here to the cursor and GZZ. This can be more angled, going down like that, because the majority of the weight needs to be supported from the rear, because you're gonna get the recoil, right? So let's add the plane, change the pivot to individual origins, and we just need to make it longer. So SCZ. Just a little bit longer, right? Let's solidify this because we cannot see anything. Just a little bit. Not this one. That's not what I want to solidify. This one. There we go. Solidify. There we go. And now G, ZZ, and move it down like this. And that will do for now. For now. This one, of course, gonna have to be longer, kind of popping down. So we will work with it later. We need to create some kind of a believable mechanism for supporting this this gun. Some screws on sides as well, because this is gonna be like a clamping mechanism. So Shift D. We can create different screws too. Doesn't matter. Maybe a bit smaller. Something like this. Shift D and move it here. And move it inside. There you go. So that will do for now. That's it for this video, and catch you in the next one.